All right. Ladies and gentlemen, how are you all doing today? This is our first MKPS match of this week for week 2. Division 5 between APE and Execute. I'm Jaggy, and I'm joined by Sal.
Hello.
So, even though this is Division 5, I still think this is going to be an interesting match because APE and Execute are both 0-1 in the standings, and they both had a relatively rough loss. Execute's loss coming against, or it was APE's loss coming against IS, and then Execute's loss coming against Manganese, both by a little over 100. So both teams are trying to bounce back here in this particular match. And I know you're pretty knowledgeable on APE. I know you have played with them for a long time, and you still are with them. So look at the lineups here. What do you think about APE so far?
So, yeah, if we take a look at the lineups real quick, we have Bryant, that is Ben Bryant, for anyone who's wondering, the guy that's played with UK lads and Crossfire and all that. He's only came back recently, so I'm curious to what he'll be able to do with it instead of a more established player than Ape with Crosskine, Zatlin, Ice. But yeah, the other four, they've all been playing with Ape for a really long time. A lot of wars, especially during the past year. Zalo maybe not as much, but is an Ape member since 2015. One of the founders. It's been a really long time, and I don't know. I feel like the only thing I'm curious about is Brian, because he used to play with Ape for his CTs, but RT is not as much, and he's only came back recently. He's been playing a few wars here and there the past week, but I don't know. I feel like he'll definitely be enough. The one thing is I'm wondering about the call, because usually when there's 4 Italians and 1 non-Italian, it's usually the one that's non-Italian is going to be a bit confused in the call, and people are gonna have to call stuff in English specifically for him, and it can get a bit messy at times. But I'm sure they'll be able to handle that.
Yeah, I mean, they've been around. They've played with certain lineups that have had American players or players that don't speak too much Italian. I think they'll be okay in that sense.
Yeah,
I'm sure they prefer to speak Italian, but I think Ape will adapt pretty well.
Brian isn't that much. That's a very talkative guy anyway. I'm sure he'll be fine.
Yeah, so they have a few things going for them. If you're going to give the match to Ape here, I feel like we have a couple of points that'll firmly back that up. For one, chemistry is most certainly there, despite the possibility of having to speak English for the most part.
Which isn't really a problem. It's just about switching languages very often. It's not like speaking English. It's not like they can't speak
Italglish, yes. Yeah. Italian. But yeah, Cross, Keon, Zatlo have all been there for a really long time. I think Ace has been there for at least a year and a half as well.
Yeah, he's been the main bagger for the team. He usually bags all the time.
Yeah, they've had bagging issues in the past, but without Ace. But with Ace in here, it's gonna give them peace of mind for sure. But yeah, another thing going for them is they have good runners here, and notably Bryant, who has a lot of low div experience. He's played the game since 2015, 2016. A lot of the teams he's played in were low divs, so I expect Bryant to come out guns blazing here and be one of their main runners, and it's going to be really hard to get him out. I'm not sure if Execute have too much of the firepower, although they do have Esten, who's a decently experienced player, and he's a decent runner. I've played against him a couple of times in the past, notably I played with him and against him, with TR, Tribulation Refuge back in the day, and against him, and he's not a bad player in terms of lines and in terms of sniping and getting people out of top spots. I think he's going to be the main player to look at for Execute. The rest of the players, they have potential, but I question whether they are going to stay up there all the time. I know Alan is a decent player. He's also decently experienced in lounge, decent lines, but he's going to have to make sure he stays consistent today if he wants to contend with the likes of Bryant and also Keon, who's a very solid runner for Ape as well.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Alan to be the Execute's top scorer. Really, it's the name that really pops up first when you look at their lineup. You know, it is a little bit more known than everybody else in Execute's lineup. I'm not really counting all the other lineup out. I'm just like expecting Alan to be their top scorer by far. And instead, talking about Ape's lineup again, Kyan has been bagging a lot recently for the World Cup, and like he's looking to get even better at bagging so that he can have better experience with higher division clans, even though it's just for bagging. But like what I'm gonna look forward to see if his cross can get to the front, because if he can, he's actually pretty fast, surprisingly. Like most people probably don't recognize that because he can't get to the front that often, but when he does, he can build pretty big leads. He's actually pretty fast, especially going against Execute. Like his lines and speed can definitely be a massive advantage in his favor.
Right. So you're saying
get to the front.
You're saying he's very good lines wise, but at times he struggles to get up there to start with.
Yeah, he just gets hit very easily.
Got it.
He can't really. He's not that good at avoiding back spams and people in megas, triple reds. Being the right players at the right time is not his strength.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, and that's one of the most key factors in this game is being able to avoid anything you can. I mean, that's where Mogi experience does come in. It's like for example, Casperinos for WZ, very strong player when he's up in the front, doesn't get hit much. It's one of those things that you have to learn in the game if you want to contend at the higher levels. Because having good lines is very good once you're up there, but I'm sure there are a couple of players on Ape like Bryant and Keon that could back him up. And you did say that Keon also bagged for Team Italy in the World Cup. But Keon, it's best for him to run, I'd say, in this case, because I'm not really sure about their running depth besides these 4 players. I don't think they have really many players.
Yeah, it's better to have him as a runner, even though he might be a better bagger than Ice. It's probably just better to have him run and have a slightly weaker bagger, but have a runner.
Yeah, slightly weaker, but still experienced. I know Ace has been bagging for them quite a bit now. But going up against Noakov, I actually don't know too much about Noah. I know he's played a decent chunk of wars for Execute. He's been their main bagger pretty much ever since the rise of EXE. So I feel like the bagging battle is not going to be too lopsided in one favor. Maybe Ace is the slightly more experienced bagger, but Noah has been the more consistent bagger as of late. He's been grinding a decent chunk of wars as of late. So I feel like this bagging battle will be interesting, but I feel like Execute will need the shock just a bit more if they want to contend here. But it's gonna be close though. I don't think this war is going to be a complete blowout on one side, but Ape have had experiences with blowouts in the past where notably T7 versus Ape in Elite League. It was I think the first match of the best of 2 series in the group stage where I said it was going to be close, but then it ended up being a complete blowout on the side of T7. So I'm gonna have to make sure to not let that happen. But yeah, who do you think is gonna win? MVP predictions?
I'm gonna say Ape win, no bias.
Okay.
MVP is quite tough because all of these players are very inconsistent, which is literally their biggest problem. Like Alan, Cross, Kyan, all of them are just so inconsistent. I'm gonna I'm gonna say an MVP for each team because like just saying one MVP is a little bit too difficult to say. It's a little bit too much of a coin toss. I'm gonna say Kyan MVP for Ape and Alan for Execute.
Okay. You know what? It's gonna be hard to choose against Ape. I think it's gonna be relatively close, but I'm going to say Ape still, but I'm going to go with plus 14. I think it's going to be relatively close. Maybe not close throughout. I think maybe we may see some swing races. We may see some momentum coming out from Team Ape on a couple of races and then Execute bringing it back. But I think in the end, it's going to be Ape by 14. And as for the MVP here, I'm gonna say Allen as well. Allen 112. But also, I wouldn't count out Alex 99 either, because on paper, maybe not too many people know about Alex 99, but he has a decent experience in the game. We actually didn't really talk about him, but he has experience in the game all the way back to Golden Haze, if you remember that clan back in 2018 or so. He played with the likes of Nanny, Prove, Mr. 64, all those guys. And Alex 99 was one of their main runners, I believe. And it'll be interesting to see how he does. I think he's going to be one of the people to look at for execute as well. But I'm going to say Allen 112 here and Ape plus 14. But as mentioned before, both teams are 0-1 going into this. And the top scorer actually is LT for Manganese, which is very interesting. LT has been drastically improving. He did decent in the spring split for T7, but he wasn't really a standout player in the community. But my God, has he improved. But one quick pointer that we want to say, we have a substitution on the side of Ape. It'll be Jadid coming in for Zatlo. And Sal, what do you think about this substitution?
Well, it was only made because Zatlo couldn't connect. It was definitely not like a tactical substitution or any of that. I think it's going to make their lineup a little weaker. I still think that Ape is going to take the edge here. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I feel like it would have been overall better to play with Zatlo. Just thinking back about it, when we were talking about Ape's lineup, we didn't talk enough about Zatlo. He actually could have been another, MVP contender for the war. It's just not a name that comes up to your mind. He's not like a huge front runner. He's the type of guy that, scores a lot by getting third consistently or like dodging up at the very end and all of that. He's not like particularly fast or anything.
What about his team play though? Is he a good team play? Is he good with shot calls?
He is. It's definitely his biggest strength. He is actually a pretty good team player, especially in a division like this.
Yeah, in a division, in Division 5, I don't think Ape are going to completely. I don't think they're going to fall apart just because all four of their runners are not strong. As long as you have one person that's really good with communication and team play, that'll be a huge piece, and Jadid will serve as that piece. Zatlo, I wasn't really sure about him going into this. Of course, he's stronger on paper than Jadid, but I wasn't sure how much he played. How much he has played recently. But yeah, Zatlo definitely would have been a good player to use in this case for stronger running presence. I know Zatlo is a decent communicator as well. So he could have maybe served as the shot caller for Ape. Jadid coming in as a weaker runner though, but he's still going to be able to provide the comms for Ape. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I'm still going to stick with my guns though, Ape plus 14. But we'll see what happens. MT coming out for Ape and Casey coming out for execute here. Casey gets picked.
One thing I want to note is that Cross is actually hosting the room, so it's gonna be easier for him to get to stay upper end in the front. So that's
gonna be big, yes. And I think
kind of switch things up in the MVP race.
Yes, that's definitely gonna be big. And you mentioned that Cross is a very good player lines wise, but not as good when he's in the pack, not as good at avoiding certain situations that occur. But here we go already. We see a 1-3 coming out for Ape, and we see Cross in a position where he's right ahead of Alex, not too far ahead. I thought, that red did connect in the end.
How did he not have an item to plug? Unless he had a fib.
He had a fib right away,
I would assume he would have backed the fib instantly, but that's unfortunate because they're already only like 20 seconds into the race that already breaks his momentum. 20 seconds to the war, that's going to break his momentum, staying in first place.
Yeah. And he's Keon is staying right behind Alex, assuming that Alex doesn't have a trail here. We'll see how well Alex can fend off Keon in this situation,
trail?
But Keon's... Go
Who
ahead.
did he even trail? He trailed somebody. I don't know about that shroom usage.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the trail. I mean, the shroom usage, I guess, was to try to get up to first early, but in that case, there are no real back spam spots to threaten with if you're Alex. If you're Keon, just land like wide and then just take a shroom cut right away. I don't agree with the shroom usage either there coming out from Keon.
And he just got in NA versus EU lag here. that kind of like bumped into the cut.
You could say Keon would have gotten redded potentially after shrimming up, but still, I mean, it's
first wasn't gonna have a red.
Yeah. First you get a box. It's only gonna be a nana or a green or a fib. So, yeah. Now, what's the situation like with Wayne here? Let's switch over real quick. Wayne does have a star, but yeah, shot coming in. And it looks like Keon's going to get TC'd.
They predicted. They called it to get top 3 after boxes. Cancel Kyan's TC and Jadid dodge, but Jadid used his TC, his star a little bit too early. And,
the TC
Wayne was able to predict, but he didn't change.
Doesn't look like it, yeah, so he's not going to be able to get up there. Still, it's Brian up there getting up to first. It's going to be a top 2 coming out for APE. Keon did get TC'd, but the shot kind of canceled it, but he's still hard stuck in 8th right now with the golden. Wayne with triple reds in 5th, but EXE all around him in this case. Alan's going to have to do something. He's going to have to make a play here, whether it's a snipe. I think he gets a red off potentially. Maybe we could see a combo or a back spam coming out from Wayne here, but I think they may be behind. Yep, it's going to be a 3-4-5 or 2-3-4-5 actually for EXE. Still, yeah, it's a good race there. I think one of each team shroomed up in the end, but it was still an even trade-off there. I think it might have been a 2-3-4-5 or 2-3-4-6 for EXE there.
It looks like Jadid got better out of the second after dodging. I don't know how he didn't have any protection.
Yeah, I was going to say Alan needs to make a play here, but he had that red in 3rd, and somehow no protection there coming out from Jadid. So 2-3-5-6 actually. So Cross was able to sneak in 4th at the very end after pulling shrooms. Very even race there.
Yeah, I'm wondering what item Brian got when he got shocked into boxes in 4th, because he got into 1st immediately. So I'm assuming he either got a mega, but I didn't see him in a mega. Maybe it was triple shrooms in 4th. It must have been either everyone in front of him failed, or he got a really lucky pull in 4th there, because I don't know why he got into 1st that immediately, because it didn't look like it was that close to the top 2, to the top 3 even.
Yeah. So we got a 3-point lead going into this race for EXE. Starting off in 2-3-5-6, I'm interested to see what they're going to go for here. I think RBC is a decent option.
You mean APE or EXE?
Actually, both, because APE are starting 1-4. 4th can draft first for APE. EXE, they're in more of the draft spots, 5-6. So 2nd and 3rd can keep their line, and 5th and 6th can draft. So it could work for either side, but looks like Waluigi Stadium will come out here.
If I was EXE, I would have picked GV, and if I was APE, I would have picked CM or B64. Yeah.
With spots like that. With spots like that, it's up to the team. It's just up to their discretion, whatever they're comfortable with running here.
Yeah. It can be just down to that in lower divisions, because like maybe certain teams are.
This is a rough spot to pull a TC too. There's a lot of boost panels. It's really hard to catch up to a certain individual. So Keon's just gonna take this real quick.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see what Keon pulls here, because Wayne was in 8th, but he shroomed up, and Jadid is in 7th, so maybe he's already holding something. APE is in position right now to pull dodges, and if there could be a bomb in the middle of the pack from APE, then they can run this up, and it will be kind of dangerous. But Pow, right now for Keon, I'm interested to see what he's going to do with this.
They called Bryant first in the air, I think.
Okay. Maybe he's holding a shroom potentially, but a blue gets pulled anyway from Keon, so that's not going to be an issue anyway. But Keon's going to kind of fall behind.
POVs, since he's just going to have to hold the blue.
Yeah, let's switch over to Wayne. He has a shroom right now in 5th. He's going to take the cut here.
Looks like he exceeds 2-3-4-5.
Yeah, not too bad right now. But Bryant, especially with holding blue, he could have a little more leeway to just back spam here, unless he only has like one
Looks
old
like he
blue
got
comes out.
overtaken. He got overtaken.
Yeah, there. I think Alex was able to sneak up into 1st. They're slightly outlining Bryant. And there's that back nana.
Don't know what happened to Bryant in 1st.
Yeah, he got back nanted, and he dropped the red. Luckily, didn't connect onto Wayne there, but he gets redded out.
Yeah, but
anyway.
even then, he wasn't 1st in the middle up to, and then he got overtaken. I think he might have.
Maybe the lines were a little iffy.
And then it looks like he wasn't 1st again after the blue, but then he got overtaken again. I wonder.
The blue might have made him slow down a little bit, and Wayne gets megaed. Shock comes in. Wayne is a little behind, actually, his POV, but I'm actually not sure whose shock that was.
I don't know. I think... Well, actually, no, I have no idea. Because we couldn't really see if anybody dodged in the front, and I wasn't really looking at the baggers at all. I just know that me and Jaggy can see both POVs right now, and I saw that Kyan was in a star, and Shock came right after he was out of his star. No, yeah. The thing is that since like we have both POVs in front of our eyes right now, we can see that Kyan was in a star, but the Shock came out right after. So maybe Ape tried to spam it so to get Canyon in time in a star, and then we saw Jadid get first, so I'm assuming he dodged.
Yeah.
So I think that was most likely an Ape shock, and they maybe just got it there, trying to spam it, get Canyon in time in a star. Don't know. That's the only.
Well, I know it was Ape's bagger winning out in the bagging battle. So if it was a shock, it might have potentially have been a 9th. So yeah, we are going to see a couple track pickups coming out here. Peach Gardens. I mean, it's a relatively neutral track. It depends on the poles though, because triple shrooms are absolutely unbreakable in 5th through 6th. If you pull those, we'll see what happens up here.
Really an Ape favorite to Swan, I can tell you.
Ape favorite, yes. He has this bomb. Yeah, I mean, he could hold this for a little bit depending on what... Oh, okay, there he gets redded out anyway. I was going to say, if he stays in 5th, he can either back a couple of EXE players behind him or go for a bomb snipe in that uphill section coming up here, but ends up getting redded out anyway and doesn't connect on the bomb and just chains in triple shrooms. So maybe he could be able to get up to top spot here. Not sure the top spots are favored by which team in this case.
I think Cross might be in a top 2 position. I know Jadid got red out of first immediately, so he's not. He's back there. I think maybe Ape is. Yeah, they have 2 of the top 3 spots with Cross and Bryant. I don't know what spots they have there.
Noah Cove winning out in the bagging battle once again.
Or cut. Kyan is the only. Kyan and Jadid are the only 2 people taking cut here.
Yeah, we saw someone.
In the front with all these trims.
We saw someone shrooming up in 4th, overtaking 1st in that case, I believe. Spots are still relatively mixed here. I think this exchange between Alan and Brian is going to be pretty big, and Brian actually gets willy bumped by Alan there. And Keon holding blue, so it was actually one of Ape overtaking 1st in that case.
Cross, I think.
Yes. And I think he pulled triple shrooms in the very beginning, so that's how he was able to take cut again. Maybe he has another shroom here, potentially. And if he does, then he's going to break away, especially with Ape holding blue in this case. This is going to be looking very good if he does take cut here. And he doesn't, actually. He doesn't have a shroom there. Jadid throwing that back red onto Wayne. We're switching over to Wayne's POV. Wayne barely able to avoid that back red. Good work from him. He has 1 shroom. I'm interested to see what he's going to do with this. Maybe chain into a box here.
Well, they don't know. They don't know Ape is holding the blue, so he's going to try to overtake Cross. And if he does, he's just going to get blue. But it doesn't look like he played too safe. I think it was the thing he should have done, but he should have been more aggressive so that he could have gotten into first. I mean, he was going to get blue either way, but it's not like he could have known.
Yeah. I mean, Wayne's not going to be able to predict that. But if his intention was to overtake Cross there, I feel like just... Oh, the shock saved him from getting fibbed.
I think... Well,
still an Ape shock,
is there any chance? Yeah, I think it was an Ape shock, and I think that what they were trying to do is to have Wayne get blued on the line. But the blue went for Cross anyway. I think that's the only use I can think of that shock.
Yeah, but with the shroom usage that we were talking about there, he opted to use it through the flower bed. But if you go, he went kind of wide on the flower bed too. It wasn't like he cut really far inside, so he didn't gain that much time. I would have liked to see him potentially chain a shroom into the box and take a decent line and get protection once you get up to first. But of course,
that's kind of how you do that shroom spot, because you can't be too far right, otherwise you can't really take the next turn properly. I think you did that thing fine. It's just that shroom spot fine. It was racing too safe behind Cross, and because of that, even with the shroom usage, you couldn't even get to first. So it was just like it was more of a prevention of getting hit, and at the same time staying close to him. So just in case you can hit him, you can still get into first. But
It makes
I don't
sense.
know. That's personally not what I would have done, but it was probably better for him. Like they didn't know that Ape was holding blue anyway.
Yeah. So
I didn't even catch what were the ending spots. Did Ape get 1, 4, 6, 7? I think, or what was it?
It was clarifying real quick. Actually,
yeah, it was 1, 4, 6, 7 for Ape.
Yes. Yeah, I pulled up the VOD here, or it was. Yeah. So 1, 4, 6, 7 for Ape, and they're opting to go for RBC for the most part. Yeah, they are going RBC, but MG comes out relatively neutral track in this instance. It all really depends on the Shrooms really taking gap. I think that's the hugest, the biggest X factor in this case.
Well, now that we get Kayan again on our POV, I'm going to spend a few seconds talking about what's happening to him so far in the war. He's been having to hold a lot of blues. He's pulled at least 2 blues so far. So, like, I don't know, maybe it's not scoring as much as I predicted, but at the same time, it's just like stuck with this.
That's a really good TC pass coming out from the Keon there. He usually, sometimes people when they don't pass a TC right away, they kind of concede it, but Keon was just adamant to pass that off and gets it off anyway.
Especially when you have the Mega, people usually just give up instantly because they're like, oh, well, I'm gonna dodge it anyways. But what a lot of people don't realize is that if you pass it back, you're gonna kill that guy that you passed it to pretty badly. So even though you could just dodge it and not lose any time, but just using the Mega,
he's not gonna kill. He's not gonna expect it because he's gonna get past the TC last second. He could get TS with that TC. It's not like you're preparing for the TC shock there and not getting TS, but he has this Mega in 5th here, almost lands on the fib, but really aware of that. Spots are relatively mixed here, but I think Ape are slightly favored here. They're either 1-3-5 or 2-3-5, but it all depends on the gap here. I don't know if Wayne has a Shroom. He could potentially, yeah, he's going to take gap here after throwing that green away. I thought he could have backed that, honestly, but he's going to be able to get up there.
You see both baggers going forwards. Who? I don't know who would have it. Again, not really paying too much attention.
We could say, if you're Ape here, I'd say just, I'm actually not sure who's first exactly. But yeah, if one of the teams are in first, just try to TS first and nobody else. Because if you try to shock here, you're just going to risk TSing the other team. That spot right now, shock coming in.
Yeah, Ape shock. Was it an Ape shock?
Actually, I'm not sure. I could look back at the POV real quick because I know a couple people got TS'd in that instance. I'm actually really interested to see what the spots, because I know at least one person got TS. I'm trying to look back.
It looks like EXE got top 2. Yeah, they did.
Yes, that was a really good shock down from EXE, because I know Bryant didn't get TS, but Cross, I believe, did. So it was a good shock, good coordinated shock there from. Even though it did dodge Keon, it was still necessary.
Yeah, Kyron didn't even get any spots anyway. He didn't pass anybody. He passed just Cross that got TS, and everybody, like the top 2 stayed, only got 2, 3, and they got passed by Allen.
Yeah, and Ko finally getting a shock. I know he's been getting the better of Ace in these exchanges, but Ace pulled a couple of shocks regardless. So Noah finally getting the shock that he needed there. Let's see if he can keep up the momentum in terms of the bagging. Let's see if EXE can keep up the momentum in terms of the running here. They are up by 18 in this case, so let's see if they can keep it up. Going into GP2, we have an 18-point lead coming in for EXE. And for the most part, we have seen Noah Cove getting the better of Ace in the bagging department, but the shot count's relatively even. So let's see if EXE can sort of build on that momentum if they can get more shocks, or maybe we can see a comeback potential here for Ape, because I did mention in the beginning of the cast that we may see some swing races. We may see some changes in momentum, considering that both of these teams are evenly matched. So Maple Treeway, though, coming out for Ape, since they are starting off in 1-3-5, third can hop and cut.
Yeah, this host switch made Zalo able to join the room, but now we're not going to have Cross in first anymore starting, even though it didn't really work that well in KC. But
did we see a substitution from Ape, or is it same lineup?
Yeah, Zalo is subbing for Jadid, so it's what the original lineup was supposed to be.
Yeah. So that could be good for Ape in terms of running power.
Well,
We do see Keon's burning out though.
well, I see 2 mistakes already there from Kain. First, it wasn't even gonna swerve, so fourth was already gonna drop for sure if it didn't burn out anyway. So it's probably better this way, so they can set that so that maybe not, but you know, at least EXE didn't draft. I'm sure that wasn't intentional, but.
Do you see a backspam from? Was that from Brian? I wasn't entirely sure.
I doubt it.
Okay. Yeah, I think Brian was able to avoid those greens, but then it connected right onto Zalo anyway. So Ape falling behind right away, and it's a testament to Keon burning out there. It could have been a completely different story. Brian also getting bumped off in that exchange. EXE have the favorable spots here early on. Both baggers still sitting though; they're still blocking each other. If I were EXE's bagger Noah, I'd probably just I'd be content to continue to block off Ace in this case.
Cross keep it chocolate. Second or first, I think.
Yeah, he could be first, but worst case, it's still a 2-3-4 coming in for EXE. If you're Keon here, would you chain the Mega?
Probably at grass. Not here.
Especially with this potential TC getting past here. Actually, it looks like Wayne's going to completely undershoot that, so he's going to take that TC anyway.
I wonder if the Nana was called and it didn't, you know, it didn't focus on that just because.
Blue coming in. Let's confirm to see who was in first.
I think it was
Alex, actually.
Yeah,
it was. So in this exchange, it's going to be one. It's hard to see with Battle Glitch, honestly, but a TC in third for another EXE player there. It's a little rough there for Alex getting blued and then getting a TC in third. Low likelihood of that as well.
I don't think it's anybody else from Ape in first because. Who would it be? Because I don't think it's Ala because it was behind Kion and then we never lap one and then we never see him pass.
Good question. Well, Kion's trying to get. Yeah, that could very well be the case because Zalo fell behind early, so yeah, I guess it is. Yeah, top 2 there for EXE then. TS on the, but it doesn't actually affect second that much because he gets the good respawn.
There's nothing. I mean, golden in 5th was not good. He tried going all or nothing, but. It actually cost him a spot. Did it? No, it didn't.
Well, it didn't cost him any team. It cost him team spots, but not any. No.
It was actually it was about to get 6 instead of 5th.
Yeah. So it was just 8 passing him up there, but in that case, yeah, goldening on the rail is you have to be really precise there, and if you fail it, it's just you fall behind really, really far. But yeah, I guess
because he was trying not to bump his teammate, so it kind of. Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't really the best of the situations to do that.
Yeah. So round of applause there for Keon, not killing his team there. Top 2 though coming out from EXE. Yeah, there were top 3 the whole time actually. I thought Cross was up there as well, but lack of battle glitch is kind of hard to say.
Yeah, I think they might have been top 4 at some point as well. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were top 4 because Kion and the Mega in 5th.
Yeah, and Ape ate several backspams from the get-go, and that's what you need. That's what you want to do from the get-go is get up there early so you can backspam around those blind corners. It's going to be really hard to avoid. It's like a bit of a mind game. Do I go tight or do I go wide here if you're a runner? And yeah, EXE able to capitalize on Kion, actually. Kion burning out. I pronounced his name wrong the whole time. I apologize.
Yeah.
But yeah, DDR coming out now from EXE, and that's actually a good track to pick if you're starting off in top 2 and some of the bottom spots. Top 2 can take Sandhop, and if they can make it successfully, then Ape are going to have to take Sandhop in 3-4, and if they miss it, they're already like completely in the back foot. So we'll see what happens.
Again, also knowing now then EXE was top 4 that entire time. Kion hitting all those backspams, you know, like when you know they're all ahead of you, you just go wide. Especially on B64, like there's the track where you.
Interesting. We saw S then go wide early. I'm not sure if he's that consistent with the sandhop, and then we saw Alan failing the sandhop. So right away, spots change hands, and Ape are now in top 2, I believe.
Bryant in first.
Yep.
No, wait. Bryant is here.
Maybe no. Okay.
In first?
No, he.
Surely he wasn't first. Did he fall off?
I'm not entirely sure, but I think Bryant. No, he spun out. I thought potentially Bryant had something to take the TC with, like a star or something, but no. I think he's going to fall behind a little bit more too. So it might
No,
be
but
like,
what I'm confused about is that I know I saw him in first when
yeah,
people felt standoff.
I did too for a split second. I'm not entirely sure either. I think he might have gotten sniped out. It's really hard again to see without battle glitch. We see Kion taking the Star Ultra there, very solid. Did clip the wall for a second, but was still able to traverse it. We are going to see Ape getting back there. 4-5-6 for Ape. So a best case scenario for Ape, it's a 1-4-5-6. But I still think it might be someone from EXE up there. So see. This is going to be a huge exchange. Kion, I think, may just, depending on the bagging situation, yeah, he opts to go for the Mega Ultra here, just to try to break the top spots a little bit more. We see, yeah, EXE in top 3 right now. That was much needed from Kion. Gets back though.
You need to be more careful behind him.
But it's kind of hard to avoid a backspam there coming right out of the Ultra there, because the bridge is kind of a narrow. It's a narrow spot to maneuver around. So I think
you could have avoided that.
Yeah. Still a really solid backspam to secure the top 2 there for EXE, and they're just going to run away with this. Despite Alan failing Sandhop in the beginning, they were somehow able to grind their way back up there and keep their top spots. So another good race for EXE.
Again, Brian's no idea what happened to him. He could have just run.
Yeah, nonetheless. Yeah, it was Bryant did get, I believe, redded. So I think he might have pulled a fib in the first set. So he got redded out.
Maybe got no item at all. He was starting in 4th, I think, or 3rd.
Yeah. Yeah, and then he got past that TC right away as Kion was trying to slow down to pass it to Alan. But Alan slammed on the brakes. He wasn't taking the bait. So it was just Kion standing there for like a whole second with a TC, and Bryant just inadvertently took it from him in lap 1, and that was pretty much a wrap. EXE were still able to run that pretty effectively. So momentum building here for EXE. I'm interested to see what they're going to pick here.
Ape just need to fix their mistakes at the beginning of the race, because when they realize they're too far back, they start focusing more and try to do as much as possible to pull the blues, pull the shrooms to get back in the top spots. But it's just the beginning of the races. They just keep getting hit out of the top spots, failing or burning out, or I don't know.
Yeah, I think
doing enough as well to hit them out of the top spots.
You know how I mentioned Esten went wide in the very beginning? I think he pulled the red after he went wide, so he ended up redding Bryant there. So I guess that was a little unfortunate for Bryant. Can't really do much in that scenario, but as for the rest of Ape, yeah, we didn't really see them in the front. Even, I'm not sure though. Do you think they would have pulled shrooms to get back up there? But it was still EXE top 3 for the most part for the majority of that race. So I'd like to see Ape try to get up there a little more. We are going to see a Delfino coming out here. Decent reset track for them. We see two players from each team bagging there, and usually you want to have 2 run and 2 bag, but one of the baggers, you don't want to make them fall behind too much. Just try to get like that 5th or 6th place triple shroom. But I'm interested to see who wins out in the shroom exchanges here. Kion gets bumped by Alex in midair. Really hard to see who took the cut once again, but with triple shrooms in 7th here for Kion. Oh, Alex, I think that was Alex's red, was it not? Or no, it was oh no, he shroomed up after that, so there was no way it was his red. But I think the Ape player, whoever threw the red there from Ape, ended up getting caught in that red as well. I'm not sure what exactly happened there, but Kion has triple shrooms here. It's going to be a very, very good exchange here. We see Brian in 4th.
3rd.
3rd, I believe, yeah. The spots are mixed, I believe. I don't think it's favoring either side here, but both of top 2 taking the single. They were able to pull single shrooms here. I think that's an EXE player in 1st, 2-3 for Ape.
I think it might be top 3.
Okay. No, it's EXE. I saw an EXE name flash for a split second there. Snipe attempt coming out, but bounces off the wall. It's a good attempt though from Kion, considering there was going to be a POW coming in anyway. Fib doesn't connect. It was good work from Wayne and company to be proactive of a potential backspam after the PAL there. If we see people taking cut in the minimap in 4, 5, 6, it is going to be mainly EXE. We see Cross coming up in a bill.
EXE has shock then. Yeah, EXE has shock.
Yep. Are we going to see a shot coming in here?
Karen gets a star here.
No. Oh, there it is.
Nope.
It's going to be
We'll
really
try
good.
spamming the item more here to maybe get the star.
Esten was able to get second just based on the minimap there, and I believe it was just like a 5, 6, 7 for Ape there. Worst case, they get first, but still. So I've been pronouncing 3 names wrong, apparently. So first it was Kion. It's supposed to be Kion. Then it was Ace, supposed to be Ice. Then it was Sven, supposed to be Sven. I'm sorry, it's really hard to say Sven. I mean, it's not hard to say Sven. It's just kind of annoying. So I say Sven.
Oh, no, I would just say like Sven. Or
Sven.
Sven.
All right. It sounds so German. Sven. Top 2 for EXE there. Another solid race. So EXE building on the momentum a little bit more now. I don't really know any signature tracks here, but starting off in top 2, DDR is already a sandwich track that's chalked off. So I'd like to see potentially a CM here because Casey's are also out of the equation. Allen on 94 after 7 races, according to Dino. So I guess the Allen prediction is very relaxed right now. So Moonview High
for top 2. That's probably what I would have picked as well.
Not too bad of a top 2 pick, yeah. As long as Ape don't pull those mid spot triple shrooms and spam them and potentially bump top 2 out. If that's not the case, then we may see a clean run from EXE unless one of them hit the car inadvertently. Keon going for that box on the left, much needed, but only pulls a bomb. He's gonna have to throw this right away and maybe hop. No, I think the car was in the way. The bomb was gonna bounce off the car there.
Probably spots were too mixed.
Oh, airtime. But yeah, it's still. Oh, Kion, what are you doing? Well, yeah, Kion he was in a position to potentially bomb snipe top 2 in the beginning, opted not to throw it, but then if he didn't get killed later on, he could have still gone for it, but it's going to be what looks to me like a top 2 still or a 1-3 for EXE up there. And Wayne with this single red, I would expect he'd back this as soon as he pulls shrooms to get up.
Surely you got to change that star there.
It could be a sign, though. It could be a sign. Yes. They have the shock.
Okay.
This is good.
I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be much useful, but...
Well, if you don't shock there, you can't really shock until, like, the beginning of lap 3, because boost panels here, if you dodge here, you're not going to gain that much time anyway. So I guess that's much needed for Ape, considering that I think they are in 10th in the bagging battle as well, so this could be something to change the spots around.
Well, EXT is still top 3.
Yeah, he's going to have to get a box on the right here if he wants to maybe cycle a blue or maybe pull triple reds, but Keon hits the car again. Not what you want at this stage. Oh, man. He's rattled right now. That's not what you want to see. EXE are going to run away with this, it looks to me. Yeah. Wayne coming up in a bill to secure. Nope, he gets redded out anyway. So, no. Top 3-5.
That's an Allen 60.
Allen 60 potentially as well. I think maybe if he wasn't in first, I'd assume his teammates would slow down for him there. A little bit of gamesmanship if that was the case. But Allen, as we predicted, going to be the MVP in this case. And well, I mean, we both predicted an Ape win here, but Ape, they are vulnerable to blowouts. We've seen them every now and again getting blown out by teams that we thought they were going to keep it close with. And it looks to me like this is going to be the case. We see an Allen 60 confirmed for the stream, for the fans. Hats off. I certainly didn't expect this, Sal. I really didn't.
No, me neither.
But what's the situation?
We've seen the mistakes, though. Just too many mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, Of course, we only saw Kion's point of view. We didn't really see what happened too much with the other 8 players, but Kion had certain moments in which he could have maybe done something like the bomb in the beginning. If he had aligned after the first turn, if he had aligned himself properly, could have maybe hopped and threw the bomb so that the bomb would travel further if he hopped. But then the car got in the way, so he decided not to throw the bomb, and he got slammed into the car there. So I guess that was a little unfortunate for him. He wasn't able to bomb the top 2, but then after that, he hit, I think, cars on 2 or 3 other occasions. Notably in lap 3 when he used the Mega to get up there. He got up there and he was in 4th right behind the top 3, but ended up hitting the car after getting the box on the right. So it's just these little mistakes that could potentially change the race around, but those mistakes make it so that they give EXE those top spots for free. Yeah, I gotta say Esten is doing a decent job as well. I've seen Esten pretty much in a top 3, top 4 spot almost every race. I'm sorry, Sten.
I will admit that APE hasn't been pulling like many blues at all, especially since they've been holding majority of middle spots pretty much all the time throughout the tour. But just when they're in the front, they just get taken out immediately if they can get to the front at all.
Right. And yeah, I mean, of course, with a deficit this big, you need something to go your way. You need, first off, okay, DKS. First off, Ape need to just make the double consistently. Make sure they get up there early. They need to risk it, even if they are in first and they have a decent, like a top 2 or top 2-4. They still need to go for double. They need to establish like frontal presence. And right now, if they don't get a good race here, it's going to be good night for Ape. We'll see, though. Kion starting off in first. Let's see how well he can fend off Alan here. Potentially back a fib tight and call it out early. He's going to opt not to. I think some of Ape are behind him. Dragging this fib, though. He is vulnerable. Alan drives through it because Alan was right behind, and the lag shield makes it so that the fib goes behind him. Kion opting not to go for double, allowing Alan to take it for free there. Alan a little slow on the zipper, though. We could see Kion potentially outlining him. No, Alan keeps it.
Probably just lagged.
Yeah. Alan giving Kion the draft there. Yes, I would like to see Kion potentially back on the ramp here right before. Oh, physics owned.
Not really. Yeah, really too early.
Yeah, wheelied a little too early there, but Alan could potentially block the double now that he's in first, and neither Cross nor Kion take it wide. That Nano was actually backed a little bit wide there. Typically, if you go really tight on the double, you can make it, but it can be a little risky because sometimes you can potentially hit the wall. Alan does fail, though.
I'm for the shy guy.
Yes. And those shy guys are really annoying.
Talking about what we were talking about earlier, like we were talking about Ape making mistakes and all, but at the same time, we didn't see like EXE making too many mistakes. You know, we didn't see him like flop or anything. But here, like now we see that they make mistakes too, and like
Kion just landed on
reason.
Oh, Alan!
Did he get a box?
Yeah, it was a back Nana really, really wide from Cross there, as Alan, I think, was going for single there. That was a really good backspin from Cross, much needed.
Yeah, like this race, they finally it was kind of like the opposite. Like Ape was finally doing the things to get into the front, and EXE also making some mistakes here and there that actually like end up costing a lot of positions. But
yeah, good salvage there.
Push all the way around.
Good salvage there from Ape. With the help of Alan hitting the Shy Guy lap 2. Those Shy Guys can be fairly annoying at times. You're either going to lose a lot of speed trying to avoid the Shy Guy, or you risk trying to keep your line anyway and hitting the Shy Guy and losing speed regardless. But yeah, top 2 for Ape. I believe Bryant was able to sneak 4th as well. Yes, top 2-4 for Ape to start.
That's gonna be a 61-point lead now for EXE, I think. They need more than that.
Right. You need top 3s, top 3-5, top 3-6 now. But it's a start for Ape because now they have top spots established because It was only a 135. I mean, you could still pick Maple, but Maple didn't come out. But now you are in position to maybe pick a TF here. TF is a very front runnable track. You can't. There's no real catch up potential in that track unless you dodge. So I think that's going to be the pick here. Yes.
Yeah, Shock is pretty powerful on TF, but at the same time, like a perfect positions for TF, top 2, 4, and 8. Doesn't get better than that for TF.
Grumble coming out from EXE here, and pretty much the end all be all of Grumble Volcano is the Rock, but it does come out with TF anyway. So EXE on the back foot going into this race, not in terms of point differential, but EXE, all they really need to do, they're starting off in 3rd. Yes. So I'd say maybe just go for a middle box, although Kion will probably go for that middle box anyway. No, opts not to. Gives it for free, I think, to Alex. Let's see what he has here.
Probably not a big of a deal, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, backs then there. Good work. I'm not sure what Alex has. I think he either has a Shroom or maybe nothing significant to break the top spots here for Ape.
See, that's one of those little things that kind of needs to improve on. Like, he definitely could have taken that 3rd place.
Yeah.
Like, there was no need to leave it.
Oh, Kyle almost fails that.
That was good.
I like the fib usage there, but the conveyors are going to move anyway, so the fib's not going to be a threat anymore. It was a threat for the split second there, just in case the runner tries to avoid the fib and hits the dirt in the process.
It wasn't going to do much with the fib anyway.
Backs the bomb really wide, does connect anyway.
Yeah,
yes.
It's going to take almost the entirety of the road anyway, unless you go like super wide, but you never take that line, you know.
Yeah.
Even when people call out the bomb, you're probably not going to go that wide.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the 4th place runner was just going slightly wide anyway to avoid a potential back spam. So that's a good bomb placement anyway.
Honestly, if I'm Kion right now, I would communicate with whoever is in the middle or in the back for Ape and ask if anybody's in a TC and only change boxes.
Shot coming in early, though. That is completely big. That is huge.
Zalo dodges.
Yes.
Zalo predicts. But Alan dodges in a bill.
Zalo does
going to be top 2 for 5. I don't think Zalo chain, though, or chain to a good item. If it chain is probably...
Yeah, I don't think Alan was able to get up to 1st per se. I think is he the one with greens right now? No. Yeah, he's 3rd.
Oh, no, he's in 2nd.
Oh, Alan threatening with the backspam there doesn't connect.
Blue's,
but
yeah, no, that's just some... People
Brian getting hit out, Cross getting
Blue's not that bad.
Wayne getting up there as well. I think he pulled a golden. That's how he was able to get up there, either golden or shrooms. Kion doesn't make the low. Wayne makes the low. Shot coming in late there, dodging Sven in a star there.
Is that 1, 4, 6, 7 maybe for it? No, this is kind of unfortunate for it though, because
even race, but
there's GP2 they weren't able to throw any blue, and as soon as they're in 1st for 1 race, they get blue.
Yeah,
not instantly, but you know,
huge.
It's kind of unfortunate, you know. They probably could have, like this race. I don't think there was much else that it could have done to get even better spots. Maybe in the middle of the pack, maybe Zalo could have done more to build a better league, but in the top 2, okay.
Yeah.
Well, they could have definitely been better. Happened to them. So Cross got blued on the boost, and it wasn't really that bad for him because everyone behind him just died. So he just kept pressed.
I think it might have been Cross. It was either Cross or Zatlo with the triple greens right before the conveyor section. So maybe it was one of the...
Bryant. It was Bryant.
Oh, okay. Maybe it was one of those residual greens that ended up backfiring and hitting him from the side. But either way, though, it's not as good of a race for Ape as they would have liked. But still, they're still in this. They still have some life, but they need like a top 3-5 going into this. They're down 52, I believe. So they need to get at least a plus 11 race if they want to stay alive here.
Somebody fell off already. I don't know if you asked me anything. I was deafened for a second. So if you asked me anything, okay.
This is going to be huge for Kion here. He's going to have to make this. Sven opting not to schlag. I don't think he knows that Kion has these triple shrooms, and Kion does take the rock there, not too cleanly, but he still has 2 shrooms to back him up.
Still pretty good for him. And it looks like he's still gonna be first as well. Oh, maybe not. Second, whatever. It's just teaming around him.
They're gonna have to communicate here. They're side by side. They don't want to willy bump each other. Yes, Cross drops a little bit to prevent that.
Looks like it's top 3, and Cross might have shrooms as well.
Yes. In terms of the bagging battle, I think we saw one bagger either fail the backward strat or just pulled a couple bills. I wasn't entirely sure. I didn't see.
I don't think. What?
On.
Cross take rock? Or respawn at least? Cross took rock. The
Yeah.
Brian took rock as well. And EXE to them respawn.
It would have been Kion completely broken in first had he gone for the rock and potentially made it.
Oh my god.
And second from EXE does get redded out, so we may see another top 3 coming out, or top 2-4 coming out from APE, either or. I'm not sure who has the shock. I wasn't sure who was sitting in the cave that whole time, but whoever was sitting in the cave does have it right now. And if you're APE, you just got a TS EXE going for cut. I'm not sure if they have the shock here, though. We may see a shock coming in for EXE.
Looks like one of the people that took cut.
S then comes up, bumps off top 2, I think, for EXE.
Cross, Brian, yeah.
And I think that's a wrap. Noah Cove making the backward strat early on there. I'm going to get confirmation to see if Ice failed or if he pulled bills in the beginning. Because if you pull bills in that case, it's just really bad. But it was actually Ice who failed the backward strat at 30 seconds. So that's how Noah Cove was able to secure the shock.
Now, looking at the results, though, was it an ape shock?
Or maybe it did dodge Zatlow, but no, because after failing the back, I think it was just a failed TS from EXE there. Because looking at the minimap, Ice was going forward. He was trying to catch up to Noah Cove there, trying to get the shock out of him, I believe. But I think it was just a failed.
Alan DC? I think Alan DC'd.
Someone DC'd going into this last race. It's 43-point lead for EXE though, so even then, it's not. You're not able to catch up here if you're APE, because top 5 is a plus 41. Unless there's a troll penalty or a lag correction that we don't know about. Yeah, we are going to see a reset here, maybe for point differential, but as it stands, EXE have already secured the win, unless there's a variable that we don't know about. For one quick moment, I'd like to correct myself in terms of the bagging battle. The shock count was actually more even than I thought it was. I mean, of course, Ape got a fair share of shocks, but I think I was a little critical on Ice there to say that he got outbagged, because he did keep it close. But there were certain moments in which Noah was able to make some plays. And yeah, I just think that the shocks were overall, I think, in cases with EXE that the shocks were to secure top spots, or like whenever they were Ape were top 3, they completely changed the races around with the shocks. While Ape shocks at times were in positions where they had to use it lap 2 to catch up, but then they end up getting like 2-4-5 or 2-3-4 anyway. But change, it's just EXE overall just outrunning Ape, and Ape making several mistakes and not keeping their top spots as effectively as they could have. So again, the win is secured here for EXE unless there's a troll penalty or a lag correction coming in here. But MC3 coming out as the last track. We'll see what happens. Alan trimming up right away up to first. Bryant, I think, pulled a golden, so he's taking a golden strat in this scenario. He's going to break away a little bit more. And Jadid is coming in for that last race, I think, for that.
Oh yeah, I forgot to say.
Just for one race, just for shits and giggles. We see Jadid getting some screen time, even though he did play GP1. Snipe attempt coming out from Kion there onto Sven. Doesn't connect. Cove using his bill fairly early. I think it is all run in this case. And I think that is Ice in 10th. Hard bagging there for the shock. I think if you're Cove, though, I would have liked to see him just drive backward for like 5 seconds and then use the bill to try to stay in 10th in that case. But yeah, Kion with the bill here could be a sign that Ice is already holding it here. Maybe they could get something, get a salvage here. Maybe bring the deficit down to 20s.
I think Ice was streaming.
Yeah. Kylan is still in a good position here nonetheless, but shock does come in. Was that a shock from Sten there? I think he might have pulled it there somewhere. Yes, Sten pulled it in knife. Yes. And it looks like it's hard to see, honestly, without the battle glitch, but Ape getting bottom 2 nonetheless, and I think it's going to be a good finish from EXE. Confirmed top 3 there for EXE there. A little unfortunate Ice wasn't able to pull it there in last, but yeah, EXE cementing their win there, leaving no stone unturned, and a win there for EXE by about 72. Okay. Solid victory there for EXE there. And they were able to completely outrun Ape for the most part, and Ape just didn't show up. They weren't good on their day, and they're vulnerable to that. Every so often we see performances like this from Ape, and at a time like this when they were 0-1 going into this war, they don't want to start the season 0-2. It's going to be a very tall mountain to climb for Ape, but for Execute, they have a little bit of breathing room now. They're 1-1 going into week 3, and it was a much-needed win for them. Sal? I know we've already hit up on a lot of the points, but you have anything else to say?
I feel like if Ape didn't win this match and they lost it by 72 as well, I don't think that they're going to win any of their matches. I think Execute should have been maybe not the easiest, but the more winnable out of all.
Yeah, and Ape are gonna they're gonna be kicking themselves after this, because yeah, this is one of the matches in which they had more of the potential to win, because some of the other teams in the division include the likes of Insane and Manganese. Insane are insane in their own right for this division. Division 5, Insane are pretty strong in that division alone.
I'd say Chocolate Cheese is probably better than Manganese.
Very underrated, actually. Yeah, Chocolate Cheese. And yeah, they're just going to have to bounce back. I don't know who Ape plays in week 3, but no matter what, they're going to have to get a win against Knights of Destiny. That's definitely a winnable match for them. And then they're still going to be facing Manganese, I believe. Or I don't know who. Was it Ape or Execute that faced IS in week 1? I forget.
Ape,
okay. Yeah, so they're going to be facing Manganese, Knights of Destiny, and Shot Clock Cheese for the remainder of their matches. Decently winnable matches, I'd say. Shot Clock Cheese are a decently underrated team, though. That's going to be a tall task for them. But the other 2 matches against Knights of Destiny, definitely a winnable match for them. And Manganese, strong team, but not as consistent as an Insane, I'd say. If you can curb LT, I think it is somewhat winnable for them. But yeah, Ape are going to have to bounce back from this. And as for Execute here, they still have the likes of Insane, Shot Clock Cheese, and Knights of Destiny to play. So similar opponents.
They can probably win 2 out of 3 of those matches. Manganese and Knights of Destiny the most doable.
Insane, you could argue that Insane have the capability of going 5-0 in this division. It's going to be really hard.
Only SCC can put a fight. I think it's between those 2 teams.
Yeah. I think Manganese versus SCC is going to be a decent match to watch as well. It'll be interesting to see who comes out on top there. Shot Clock Cheese, I think, are the more consistent team. They have the likes of Tekken, Days, and Solo. Tekken being the strongest runner out of the 3. But the other 2 I mentioned are also very capable in their own right. Manganese, of course, they have LT, who's been on the come up as of late, but the rest of their roster, decent in running, but not as consistent as some of the runners from SEC. So, yeah, it's still going to be an interesting match to watch nonetheless. And yeah, on behalf of MK Boards, I'm Jaggy.
I'm Sal.
See you guys tomorrow.